In the quiet hum of my apartment, amidst the flickering glow of city lights, it appeared, not with a bang, but a ripple. The air before me shimmered, like heat haze on a summer road, and then solidified into scales of obsidian and amethyst. It was a dragon, but not one from any myth I'd ever read. Its form was a paradox, both there and not there. Its colossal size somehow contained within the confines of my small living room. It didn't speak with its mouth, a cavern of starlight and shadow. Instead, its voice echoed directly inside my mind, a symphony of ancient thoughts. You are the last. It resonated, a statement of fact, not a threat. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat against the cosmic silence it exuded. The dragon's eyes, twin galaxies, swirling with unimaginable age, fixed on me. It explained its purpose, not with arrogance, but with the patient tone of a curator. It called itself the Archivist. For millennia, it had traversed dimensions, gathering what it considered the universe's greatest treasures. Lives, not bodies, but the entirety of a being's existence. The joys, the sorrows, the loves, the fears, the quiet moments of contemplation, the thunderous shouts of victory. Each human it chose was a unique volume in its vast, non-physical library. A library of souls. Why me? The question formed in my thoughts, feeble and trembling. The archivist's mental voice was calm, because your story is one of quiet observation. You have watched the world with an artist's eye and a poet's heart, even if you never lifted a brush or wrote a line. You are the perfect final chapter for this collection. The witness. Before I could process the weight of that statement, the world dissolved. I wasn't moving. Rather, reality was being peeled away from me, layer by layer. The scent of my lukewarm coffee, the texture of the worn armchair, the distant wail of a siren, all of it faded into a gentle, silent whiteness. I found myself floating in an endless void, a space that was not a space. I was disembodied, pure consciousness, yet I felt more myself than ever before. Before me, shimmering like ghostly nebulae, were countless points of light. Millions, billions. Each one, I understood instinctively, was a life, a complete, unabridged human experience, from their first breath to their last. The archivist's presence was all around me, a comforting, immense consciousness. This is my collection, it communicated, the library of lives. And now, you are its final volume, and its first librarian. A single point of light drifted towards me. As it touched my essence, a torrent of sensation, memory, and emotion flooded my being. I was a Roman legionary, feeling the grit of Iberian dust under my sandals and the weight of a pilum in my hand. I felt his love for a woman with eyes the color of the Mediterranean, and the searing pain of a final, fatal wound on a cold Germanian battlefield. The experience receded, leaving me gasping in the silent void, the phantom ache of the wound still echoing in my soul. Another light touched me. I was a scientist in the 23rd century, my mind alight with the thrill of discovering faster than light travel, my heart swelling with pride as I watched the first starship. My starship reached the outer solar system. I lived 1,000 lives in what felt like a minute. I was a medieval farmer, a Renaissance painter, a Silk Road merchant, a suffragette marching for her rights, an astronaut taking a first step on Mars. I felt their triumphs as my own. Their heartbreaks shattered my consciousness over and over. I learned languages that no longer existed and skills I could never physically perform. I experienced the birth of my children in a dozen different eras, and mourned the loss of parents across countless timelines. It was overwhelming, a tsunami of existence that threatened to obliterate my own identity. My own small, quiet life seemed insignificant, a single drop in this infinite ocean. And then, I understood. The archivist hadn't just collected me, it had chosen me for my ability to observe, to empathize without being consumed. My own life, my own unique perspective, was the anchor. I wasn't just experiencing these lives, I was connecting them. I saw the threads, the commonalities that wove through the human tapestry across the universal fear of the dark, the unshakable hope for a better dawn, the fierce, protective love for family, the simple joy of a shared meal. The farmer's hope for rain was the same as the astronaut's hope for a safe landing. The painter's desperate need to capture beauty was the same as the programmer's drive to create elegant code. I was no longer just the collection's final volume. I was its index, its consciousness. I could navigate the library, not just as a visitor, but as its caretaker. I could feel the collective pulse of humanity. The archivist had not imprisoned me. It had given me the universe. I turned my new, expanded consciousness towards the ancient being. What now? I asked, my mental voice no longer timid, but clear and steady, resonating with the echoes of a billion souls. The archivist's presence seemed to smile. A feeling of deep, ancient satisfaction washed over me. Now, you read. It communicated. You learn. You understand. The story of humanity is the greatest story ever told, and it is a story without an end. My collection is complete, but the story goes on, and you, librarian, are here to bear witness. In the heart of the void, surrounded by the starlight of a billion lives, my own story truly began. I wasn't just a man in an apartment anymore. I was a library. I was a legion. I was humanity itself, and I had an eternity of stories to explore. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. If you enjoyed this story and want to explore more strange new worlds and fascinating ideas, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We have many more stories to tell. Thanks for watching.